So while I read some stories today, I'm also going to be fighting the Wither and the Ender Dragon. I haven't beat either of those yet in this world. And let's get into these Am I the Asshole stories for today. Okay, so this first one sounds kind of crazy. So, am I the asshole if I continue on a pre planned trip if my girlfriend is arrested at the airport due to old warrants? I, 34 male, and my girlfriend, 29 female, have been dating for 6 months and have been planning to attend my cousin's wedding in June. We will be flying from Detroit to DC. I booked the itinerary in April. Earlier today, May, she discovered that she has warrants from over the past few years. Says she doesn't remember the charges. I expressed concern that she wouldn't be able to board the flight with those warrants in place. She expressed that she would get the warrants taken care of before the trip in a month. She then asked if I would continue to board the flight if she were to be arrested at the airport. I responded that I would continue to board the flight as it is her responsibility as an adult to have things in place, and we are not a married couple. Am I wrong? I feel like first off, like we are not a married couple, just like that just sounds kind of weird and goofy. But I feel like this guy, he's not the asshole, but like how does this girl not know what the charges are for, bro? That seems like the biggest lie of all time. If you have warrants for your arrest, it's definitely not something like parking tickets, so it's probably something actually serious. So yeah, I'd be pretty careful, bro. Some people in the comments are saying hide your credit cards. I don't really know how that has any relation. I guess that makes sense though. And I don't get how she's gonna like sort out the warrants in a month. If they have a warrant out for your arrest, like don't you have to get arrested first? Like what? And it's not even like one; it's multiple. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with her. But yeah, let's go on to the next story. This next one sounds so goofy, bro. It says, would I be the asshole for repeatedly telling someone that she eats babies? When my partner, 58M, and I, 41M, ordered veal, a friend of his, 69 female, said she wouldn't be having the veal because she doesn't eat babies. After the three of us got our meals, she again announced she doesn't eat veal or lamb because she doesn't eat babies, and went on to enjoy her chicken. I like the veal, but her remark was untimely to say the least. She visited a few months later, and for some reason, I can't remember, she announced her stance again, even though we weren't having lamb or veal. Later, when my partner said she would be visiting again, I decided to do some research. I discovered chickens are killed younger than lambs and calves for meat, both in absolute terms and as a proportion of their natural lifespan. Lo and behold, at an afternoon gathering with various other people, a wedding menu was discussed, and she proclaimed, "I don't eat babies," yet again. I said, "But you eat chicken." So? They're only around 6 weeks old when they're slaughtered for meat. No, they're not. They're fully grown. That's because of how they're bred and fed. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Shut up. I shut up as to not cause more of a scene. Months go by and she visits again. I swear her "I don't eat baby" stance must be core to her identity because I kid you not, she announces it again. I'm seething inside, but I don't say anything. I can't seem to let this go. She says it in a way that to me comes across as morally superior, which I could possibly tolerate if I believed it were true. Here's what I want to do, and would I be the asshole for doing it? Next time she visits, I want to say with authority, you either stop eating chicken or you stop saying "I don't eat babies." If you continue to do both, you're a liar. Low-key, all I could think about when he said the part at the end was like, holy cornball, bro. These guys are like in their 50s, 60s, almost 70 years old talking like this. Like, bro, what is your problem? Oh my god. This is probably the stupidest argument ever. Yeah, that woman seems kind of annoying, but like if it's really that much of a problem, just like don't invite her over, bro. Like, are you really getting that mad about something this small? Somebody in the comments said, just tell them please stop talking about my food or I'll stop talking about yours is good enough, or just shut up. Because if you say stop talking about my food unless you stop eating chicken, it gives her the okay. I mean, if she stopped eating chicken, would it then be okay for her to whine about babies? So yeah, I think literally all you just gotta be like is like, nobody cares, bro. Because she's just trying to make herself seem morally superior for some reason. And it's just kind of goofy. Being childish at 70 years old is, that's funny as hell, bro. It's not even funny, bro. It's just corny. Okay, so this next one's kind of long. So it's, am I the asshole for involving myself in this conflict at a restaurant tonight? I, 20s female, was at a restaurant this evening. A high school girl was there celebrating her graduation, wearing a backless/sleeveless dress. She had a bit of acne breakout on her back. Nothing anyone would have noticed or cared about under normal circumstances. A young man, early 20s male, was also dining there with his family. He had some sort of intellectual disability, apparently from the time they arrived. At some point, he pointed at the girl and loudly said something to the effect of, "You have pimples all over your back. That's gross. People don't want to see that while they're eating. Go home." The girl was visibly upset. She and her party didn't say anything, but she excused herself to the bathroom and came back wearing a heavy sweatshirt in an outdoor dining area in 80-degree heat. Not long after she returned, the young man continued making loud negative comments about her appearance, how his appetite was ruined by seeing her acne, and how it reflects poor hygiene, and how inconsiderate it was of her to have it visible in a restaurant. His parents, at least I assume that's who they were, apologized to the girl's family but didn't actually do anything to stop him. His mother even said to the girl, "Believe it or not, it actually means he likes you." Bruh. The people in the girl's party were understanding and told the other family not to worry about it, but there was an unmistakable shift in the mood of the entire room, and it was upsetting for me to be a witness to. One table got up abruptly and then returned. I suspect they complained about it to the staff, but if so, it fell by the wayside on a busy night because nothing came of it. After a few more loud negative comments from the young man, I went to his table and said something along the lines of, "This is making me really uncomfortable, and you really need to do something. It is disruptive at this point." The family apologized to me but didn't actually take any action. Not too long later, the restaurant moved the family to another area, but not before the parents made it clear they felt they shouldn't have to move since their son wasn't deliberately malicious and didn't intend any harm. The friends I was with at dinner were upset that I said anything. They felt it wasn't my place to get involved and that I only embarrassed our party and made things worse for the girl. I was confident in my decision at the time, but I respect my friends' opinions very highly, so I'm starting to second guess myself. Am I the asshole? I'm gonna say not the asshole. You're just standing up for someone that didn't deserve to be made fun of in public. And low-key, his parents were kind of goofy, bro. Like, they didn't even try and stop him. Saying it means he likes you is not a compliment, and I don't think it's even true, bro. I think they're just like making stuff up to make their son seem not seem like such an annoying person. And why do your friends think it's so bad for you to step in? Like, all you did was just say you were being uncomfortable, which is really true. At least you were brave enough to stand up for someone and actually voice your opinions. Your friends were not doing that, so I don't think you're the asshole for that. Defending a child is never a bad thing. The parents are literally using the disability as just like an excuse, which is kind of gross. I mean, like, just because he has a disability, bro, like, doesn't mean you can just let him do whatever he wants. Like, obviously, if they have a disability, we have to give them some grace, but like, you also have to do something to stop it, right? Like, if it was like one time, two times, like, okay, bro, but you gotta like keep him in control, bro. You're the parents. You're the ones that agreed to raise him, so I mean, you're the one that gave birth to him, bro. So come on now. Let's move on to the next story. This one is called, "Am I the asshole for not bringing my kids to see my ex-wife during my time with them?" My ex-wife, Lisa, 41F, and I, 43M, divorced last summer. We share two kids, 10 and 7. My wife currently has primary custody of them, and I get them 2 weekends a month with extra time during summer and holidays. I've been working very hard to change our custody arrangement in order to get more time with the kids. But the main hurdle is that I live too far away from their school, so I'm looking to move closer, but that takes time. This past weekend, I had the kids and took them to visit my parents since they live on a lake. We spent Saturday morning on the boat, fishing and tubing and having a blast. When we were back at the house getting ready for dinner, Lisa sent me a text asking if we could talk, so I gave her a call. She said that she was having a rough day and was feeling very emotional and alone. She asked if she could talk to the kids for a bit, and I agreed. After a few minutes, the kids gave me my phone back because Lisa wanted to talk more. She asked if I would be willing to bring the kids back to her for the rest of the weekend because she missed them and just wanted to be around them. I told her no because this is my time with them. I asked her what was going on because she usually doesn't contact me when I have the kids except to arrange drop-offs. She kind of tiptoed around it, but eventually said that she had a date that evening, but he ghosted her, and she's been feeling really emotional about it. It took every ounce of self-control I have to not start laughing. She said that she already asked the kids about it, and they said they were fine with it. I told her that's some manipulative BS, and that I'm not going to sacrifice my limited time with the kids just because she got stood up. I reminded her that she has the kids much more often than I do, and I'm going to keep them every single second that our custody arrangement allows. She told me that I was being a jerk and that if the kids want to go back to her, then I should let them. I told her that the kids don't get to make that decision and that I will be keeping them until our arranged upon drop off on Monday, and ended the call. She sent a few texts later that night and during Sunday, basically calling me an asshole, but I never responded. I figured the text might come in handy when I tried to change the custody arrangement. The kids and I spent a lot more time on the lake Sunday, and then I brought them back to Lisa on Monday. She made a comment about how much she missed them and how she wished she could have seen them sooner while giving me a weird look. I didn't respond because it's not worth the fight. I understand feeling emotional about being stood up, but none of that is my fault, and the way she went about it felt very underhanded and manipulative. So I'm gonna say that this guy is not the asshole, and I feel like that she is actually being the asshole. The way she talked to the kids first to get them to agree before asking him so that he looks like the bad guy is actually really manipulative, and some people in the comments even said that they would consider that parental alienation. And I feel like it kind of would be that. This whole situation is so goofy, like from her side, bro. Like, you got stood up so you want your kids to not have fun, but you want them to come back and support you while you're feeling sad and like crying or something. Like, bro, what? You're supposed to care about what the kids want. And the kids are having fun at the lake, you know, spending time with their dad, which they only get like 2 weekends a month. Like, that's barely anything. So yeah, I mean, so she's being really unfair, and I guess I could see why she's your ex-wife, low-key. But yeah, let's go on to the next story. So this one is, am I the asshole for refusing to move from a park bench when tourists who don't like dogs wanted to sit down? It's a heat wave here, so I walked my Labrador later in the day than usual, and we ended the route at a park bench overlooking the city. She was off lead and I was throwing the ball for her. A small group of tourists came by and called for my attention. They said one of their party was very frightened of dogs. My dog at this point was in thick bushes behind me, while the path to get past was in front of me. So I said, "Oh no, are you happy to walk by now while she's looking for the ball? Don't worry, she'll be a while." They hesitated and pointed to the bench I was perched on. They asked me to move or remove my dog so they could sit on the same bench and look at the view. Now, I don't know bench rules, but I felt like I shouldn't have to leave, as I obviously can't move my dog away without me also moving away. I was also there first. Whether that holds any weight in bench etiquette, I'm not sure. I was also hot at the end of the walk and wanted to chill for a minute. So I instead directed them to a genuinely nicer bench around 4 minutes walk away that is situated in the actual viewpoint area of the city. #1 on TripAdvisor, in fact. They nodded, but then didn't leave and started asking several follow-up questions like, did you say 3 minutes away or 5? And where did you say the steps are again? Etc. I answered quickly, very aware that my dog had found her ball and was now trotting back towards me. My dog looped around them to get back, and when the tourist saw her walking closer, she let out a genuine, blood-curdling scream and shouted, "Please, don't! Please stop!" The others shielded her like she was under attack. I was so flustered because my dog was only walking past to get to me. I said sorry, and they gave me a look and left. Now, I totally appreciate that dog fears exist. I have a phobia myself, so understand how fear is just primal. And I feel terrible that she screamed. But I also don't know how I was supposed to best deal with this. Maybe I should have just immediately gone into the bushes and put her on the lead. Maybe I should have given up the bench. And maybe I'm so comfortable knowing what a cinnamon roll my dog is that I have blinders on to how other people might view her. But I was using the bench first. Does that matter at all? Am I the asshole? Help. Edit. Due to people rightly asking, the park has no rules or restrictions on dogs or dogs being off lead. As someone who was also afraid of dogs at one point, I feel like this person is not the asshole. I mean, like, if you're really scared of dogs, then you should go find a different bench. They were sitting there first. You can't like push someone out to go sit there, bro. That's like incredibly rude. It's always like tourists doing this stuff. I feel like people just act worse when they're like tourists. They would not do this, I feel like, in their home country. And this person even gave them a good option, like an alternative of a better bench and a better spot to sit. So like, really, they had no reason to want to sit there other than being like entitled. And low-key, if you're still scared of dogs, like, you gotta just kind of like get over the fear, bro. Like, everybody has a dog. If you want to walk outside at any point, like, there's gonna be dogs. So you just gotta get over it a little bit. Like, that's what I told myself when I was scared of dogs, so maybe that would help this person as well. But anyway, let's go on to the next story. This one is, am I the asshole for not contributing to the tuition fee? Hello, everyone. I am 48 years old. My husband has a daughter from his first marriage. She is 22. She never wanted to have a relationship with me, and I've always been careful with her. I never tried to be her mother, I stayed in my lane and kept things respectful. Our relationship was always distant but fine. Coming to the point, she wants to go to grad school. My husband saved a specific amount for this purpose. It was meant for a local university. She suddenly changed her mind. She applied to an expensive school, which my husband claimed that he didn't know and got in. The tuition there is double what my husband saved. He told her clearly that it is out of his budget. She did not seem to care too much about it, and she just expected the money to appear. This stressed my husband a lot, so my husband had been discussing the tuition gap. I have some personal inheritance money that I keep separate. I've saved this to buy a house together. My husband had asked me if I could cover the difference for his daughter. I told him no. I did not feel it was my responsibility as we had agreed to keep this part separate. I could see how he was stressed out about it, so I agreed to think about it. I believe he talked to his sister at one point and told her about our conversation. 2 days later, sister-in-law told the daughter that I was paying for the school. The daughter called me out of nowhere. She was suddenly very warm and thanked me over the phone. I was completely confused. I told her straight out that there was a misunderstanding. I told her I am not paying for it. The call went cold immediately. The conversation felt like it went from 0 to 100 suddenly. She said she always knew I did not care about her future. She said I was hoarding money just to be cruel. She went on a rant and mentioned how I am controlling her with the money. A few choice words were said and I called her entitled. I feel completely blindsided. She only showed me warmth when she thought she was getting my money. She has ignored me for years before this. Now my husband is acting quiet. He says he understands my choice, but his silence feels heavy. I can tell he expects me to just cave and pay it to keep the peace. My sister-in-law made a mess, and now I look like the villain. I have the funds, but the entitlement makes me sick. I refused to back down during the argument and told her she needs to grow up. What should I do? Or if there is a middle ground in this? Okay, so this person is not the asshole. And I think even if she was her actual mother, her stepdaughter is super entitled. So first of all, your dad saved enough money for you to go to a local university for grad school. Like, it's not even undergrad. Like, if it was undergrad, then I would be like, yeah, your parents should pay for it. But grad school, like, that's your choice, and your parents only have to help. And he already had the money for, like, a school that you could go to, but you chose to apply to a really expensive school, and you got in, and, you know, that's good for you. But you're the one that chose to do that, so you are the one that's on the hook for the money. She's like 22 years old, so why is she still acting like a kid? I have no idea. Like, if she wants to go to this better school, then she should pay for it with her own money, and be thankful that her parents even gave her any money at all, in my opinion. And it's like, you could get a job, bro. You already have an undergraduate degree. Get a job, little bro. But yeah, this person should not cave and not spend her inheritance money on buying on this tuition. You know, some people in the comments are even saying she shouldn't spend it on the house with her husband because the husband might be like manipulative or something. I'm not really getting all that, but if she wants to spend it on the house, I feel like that's okay. But she should definitely not spend it on this girl's tuition. And she's actually the one being manipulative. I don't know why the sister-in-law even told her that. Like, bro, sister-in-law tripping as well. Yeah, basically, if you're 22 years old, bro, you're an adult. You don't need your parents to pay for everything. And, you know, some people are saying to protect yourself and make sure that your house doesn't go to her. So, yeah, I would also make sure that works out. Some people are saying to run from the relationship. I don't know if I agree with that. But it does seem kind of toxic, or your husband seems like he's just babying and doing whatever the daughter asks, which is bad. Okay, so this next one is called, Am I the Asshole for Yelling at an Old Lady Who Made My Wife Cry? And already I'm feeling like this guy is not the asshole. So, oh my god, I finally have a story. Okay, let's see if I'm the asshole here. I, 35 male, and my wife, 31 female, live in a mobile home park. Recently, one of our elderly neighbors died. We live in a 55 and up park that is now all ages. Long story short, his sister is a decrepit old bat with a mean streak. The entire time he was dying, she was stealing his stuff or making his life harder and harder. Well, today I decided to take some time for myself with some hobbies and then grab some lunch for me and my wife, who has been in bed all day with a migraine. A little backstory, after our neighbor died, our park maintenance man said that we are allowed to use his trash can for the city if ours overfills or what have you, since the cans belong to the park and not the individual trailers. Our park is private owned trailers on a rented lot. So after our neighbor passed, his sister inherited the trailer, but doesn't live there and comes around maybe once a month. Well, after the range, I was getting lunch when my wife called me, bawling her eyes out. After a bit of calming her down, I got the story. Apparently, this old lady had the audacity to come over on our property and scream at my wife about using the trash can we got permission to use, and about plants growing from the trailer park behind us that is separated by a chain link fence. Now, here is where I might be the asshole and a bit petty. I saw red. Rather than talking to us like an adult, she decided to yell at my wife and make her cry. So when I got home, I went off on her at the top of my lungs. And being prior military, it wasn't quiet. I screamed at her. She had no right to come onto my property and yell at my wife for something someone above her gave permission for, and for plants growing from another park that is on her lot. I told her she is a slur for a female dog, and that if she ever screamed at my wife again, I would escalate things higher than her, and she will regret it. I told her she had no right, and that she is nothing but a petulant ancient frick for thinking she had any right to do that. And then about 15 minutes of just screaming at her and telling her what a waste of oxygen she is, I feel justified. But at the same time, I don't like to get angry and yell. In this instance though, with how awful of a person she is, I really don't care. Okay, so this guy, I don't think he's the asshole, bro. The old lady, she was the one that started screaming at the wife, on their property. Like, come on, bro. You're just protecting your wife, which is what every, good husband should be doing anyway. So that's not an asshole move. That's a W move. W husband. People in the comments are agreeing with me. They're saying, not the asshole. Some person said you are the asshole for calling her a B word and for being proud of doing it, but I think that Redditor is a little corny. I feel like he did scream a little bit too long, so that's kind of like 15 minutes is kind of crazy. Me personally, I wouldn't have yelled that long, but she messed around and found out, I guess, is what most people would say. So anyway, here we go, guys. I just beat the Ender Dragon. So yep, that's going to be the end of the video. Leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.